I had just graduated from school and I was really depressed. I think when you go through 4 years of being a gerbil on a treadmill and meeting everybody's expectations and trying to learn a new skill and being a new artist, coming into it like while you're in art school, because I started off as a film major and I had to take a basic drawing class and I hated it until I fell in love with the figure, and it just changed my life. And then the next thing I knew, I wanted to paint, and then I wanted to do a combination of film and painting, and I think I stuck with the painting. Something about the painting just was inspirational for me. So I stuck with that, and you know, I had to catch up because I hadn't been doing it all my life. You know, I didn't start off at 3 years old painting and drawing. I started off later on, and so I took a lot of classes. I worked really hard. I hung out with other people who painted and had wonderful mentors, and my mom's a fashion designer, so that helped. And after all that working hard and doing everything, I realized I didn't have my own voice. I was doing everything that school had wanted me to do, but I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do. So I got really depressed after graduation because I did a show with Art of Living Black, and I did a couple of other shows, and I had my senior show, which is all about me and my portraits and whatnot. And then my community of artists went away, and my mentors were gone, and I was just sitting in my studio saying, what do I do next? And so one of my teachers called me up, and she was giving a class during that summer after my graduation. She said, I just want you to come in, bring your canvas, bring your paint, don't worry about painting, just hang out. So I sat in on a class, and she started asking me questions, and I was like, oh boy, I'm on the spot now. But I didn't realize how much I really knew about painting and drawing until I had to actually explain it to other students. And that was pretty much fun. And I had this one canvas that haunted me. I kept painting on it, and I didn't like it, and I kept covering it over with color, and I wasn't feeling it. And I came into her class one day, and I decided I was going to do this painting. I wasn't going to let it control me, I was going to control it. And I was sitting there, and I was feeling the canvas like I do in my studio. And all of a sudden I got this inspiration, I felt the light, and something just said, let go and let God. And I started painting, and I didn't stop, and when I stopped, it must have been like a half hour later, I stepped back and looked at that painting, and I was just blown away, because I felt like I had put my mark on that canvas, and I had actually found my voice, and it was just an incredible feeling. And it was interesting because there were people behind me watching me, and I wasn't even aware of anybody around me doing anything. And it was just an incredible feeling that I can't even explain. And out of that painting came this wonderful figure, and I call that painting Looking Out. And I've actually been able to do that more than once now, just let go and let God and let that light go through my body. And I'm always happily surprised what happens to my canvas. So.
Can you talk about the environment, like what things looked like and felt like when that happened?
I just felt like there was just hand guiding me, you know. I felt warm all over, and I just had this sensation of being alive. Like every part of my body was alive, you know. It's just really hard. It felt like I was just tingling all over. And I had this burst of energy, and I mean, my strokes were big and huge and large, and there was no hesitation, there was no thinking, there was no fear, it was just me on that canvas. I was just concentrating on color, I think, at that point. I was just laying color down. You know, I started off with a pink canvas and ended up putting blues and greens on there, and out of that came a figure looking out, and there was a swatch of pink down the bottom. I just left it. I was like, that's my dramatic pause. That's my pause right there, you know. And it's kind of hard to say what I was feeling about that canvas. I think everything was just coming to life. I just felt, after I was done, that I had actually achieved a goal. You know, I was really trusting my intuition. I mean, it's one thing to say that you trust your intuition, it's another thing to do it. And I decided I wasn't going to paint for anybody else but myself, you know. So it was just like, it's followed me in everything I do. When things don't work out, I just let go and let God, you know, and I just look for that light, and I just try to feel whatever I need to feel at that particular moment. And I think I do my best when I'm intuitively doing things and not trying to think my way out of stuff. So that canvas is like a landmark. I mean, I sold that piece, but I don't think I would have sold it to anybody else, but other than the person who bought it, because I know that person will take care of it. So it's...
Oh, and that was the piece that you sold. Oh, great.
That's the piece I was screaming and yelling about. I sold my piece, I sold my piece. Yeah, that's the piece. Mm-hmm. That's my very first piece. It's kind of scary because, you know, when you're in school, you always think about, oh, am I going to sell my pieces or am I going to keep my pieces? And for a long time, people wanted me to, they would commission me to do portraits, and I wouldn't do them because I wasn't comfortable doing somebody else's work and being dictated to about how to do their portrait, because people want you to make them either skinnier or look different than what they look like. So I think this year I decided, you know what, I need to just let go of my pieces. I can't be surrounded by all my artwork all the time, even though it's a nice feeling. So when I did this particular piece, I wasn't sure I really wanted to sell it, but I put it out there anyway, and it sold, and it was a rewarding experience to be able to sell it, because it's my first abstract piece, and it was different than any other pieces I had ever done. And it just, I think it needs to belong to somebody else. I need to let it go, you know. So I'm glad that I sold it.
Great too. First sale. Oh, okay. Oh yeah. Oh no, but let me see the dot.
It's the red dot moment. It means that I actually sold the piece. I'll be able to eat tonight. Take long half-halves.
Lobster.
Lobster. Maybe a little bit of champagne.